Ahoy there, sailors. It's First Mate Stuff, and you've entered the weekly Helm Report, where eerie itineraries, ghostly gossip, and spectral ship sightings surface from the depths. From phantom ports to chilling cancellations, this week's headlines just might send shivers down your spine. Are you ready to sail into the unknown? So we're going to start this week with Norwegian. So it's been... and it hasn't been a bad week. It just hasn't been a great week. So Norwegian had some controversial news this week. So they announced a new policy in regards to their private island, Great Stirrup Key. So as of March 1st, 2026, the drink package that you purchase with your Norwegian cruise will no longer work on the private island. Instead, passengers can purchase a separate drink package for the island specifically or pay for their drinks a la carte. So I think this is a horrible move, personally. I mean, you're going to charge somebody for a drink package, and then you're going to charge them to get another drink package on your private island. It's not even just like a port of call. I mean, it's a port of call, but it is your private island. So I think it's not being well received. I'm not surprised. It's just kind of not great in my opinion. I think that people aren't going to purchase a separate drink package, and unless their goal is to just have people stay on board so they keep drinking on board. I don't know. I have no idea what the purpose behind this is, but I don't get it. The Norwegian Getaway was one of many ships stuck in the New York harbor due to a nor'easter, delaying its departure yesterday, October 12th to today, October 13th. So then Norwegian has also added a new limit to its room service. So guests are now allowed to order a maximum of 2 items, so 1 hot item, 1 cold item. But despite this change of setting a maximum number of items, they have kept the fees for room service the same. So there has been a lot of backlash from people in regards to this, because you're going to charge us the same amount of money to use the service, but you're not going to let us order what we want, or you're going to have a limit. Like, if you're going to set a limit, then you need to lower your prices. I get that they're trying to stop food waste. A lot of people will just take and take and take. You see that a lot at the buffet, and then they have a plate full of stuff and they eat 4 things and they're done. So I get what they're trying to do, but I don't think that this is maybe the way of going about it. Maybe they'll take the backlash from this and the drink package and just kind of, I don't know, fix it. Come up with a new idea or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them right now, but it's not great for the consumers. So Carnival had some interesting news this week. So the Carnival Legend made a surprise visit to Acapulco, Mexico on Saturday for the first time in 15 years. It was a unscheduled stop due to weather, but the ship is currently on a 16-day repositioning cruise heading through the Panama Canal and over to Galveston. So that was probably a pretty cool stop. I mean, unless the weather sucked, then you might have just not ended up getting off. The Carnival Sunshine faced weather delays, much like a bunch of other cruise ships. So the storm affected Norfolk, New Jersey, and New York. So their scheduled departure was delayed until today, Monday, October 13th, just due to adverse conditions. It postponed their initial sailing date. So, and then Carnival's big news of the week. This actually came across, I think it was either my Instagram or it was the show's TikTok. But TikTok user Madison West 2000 recently made headlines because she shared a video of herself pouring herself a cocktail. Now, you can bring wine on board on most cruise lines. MSC, you can't bring anything. Disney, you can bring wine and beer, but you cannot bring liquor. At no point are you allowed to bring liquor on board, right? So she showed herself having liquor on board, and they make a variety of things that you can buy for this, and people do it, but don't film yourself. I mean, I guess She did the first part and now she's finding out. So it showed her pouring herself a cocktail. This went viral. I mean, you put it on the internet while she was on board on her bachelorette trip. So not only was her room raided by security, she has received a lifetime ban from Carnival for this. So she's trying to say, well, I love Carnival and I'm hoping they're going to let me back on board. But, you can't bring contraband items on board. So I mean, that's drugs, whether it, you bring cannabis or much harder drugs, not allowed. You can't bring alcohol on board, and you're sneaking it on board, and if you get caught, then you gotta face the consequences of your actions. So I mean, it sucks for her, but that's what you get for posting that kind of stuff. So Royal Caribbean, very similar story to all the other ships. So the Symphony of the Seas was supposed to depart in New Jersey yesterday, October 12th. It is still stuck in the harbor as of right now with 9,000 people on board. And then the Liberty of the Seas was diverted from Canada to Canada after leaving New York on the 11th due to Tropical Storm Jerry. In other news for Royal Caribbean, they have their newest ship, the Legend of the Seas, has announced its cruise ship dining and entertainment options. So you're going to see some things like the Royal Railway, which was first introduced on the Utopia of the Seas. It is a simulated train car dining experience. And then their staple musical on board is going to be the Ronald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I think that'll be probably a very fun musical. So the Legend of the Seas will be the first Icon ship to ever visit Europe, starting out its tour as doing Western Mediterranean cruises from both Barcelona and Rome. And then Royal Caribbean has also announced that the winter of 2026, they have had some changes. So the Radiance of the Seas and the Rhapsody of the Seas will be swapping itineraries. So the Radiance of the Seas will now sail from Tampa, and with the Rhapsody of the Seas home porting in San Juan. And then the Brilliance of the Seas will now sail from Fort Lauderdale, and the Vision of the Seas will head to the Caribbean and offer cruises from San Juan as well. All the itineraries on the 4 ships will remain intact, and guests who had a cruise booked on one of these ships will have the exact same itinerary, but they will just now sail on a different ship. So nothing is changing for them except for their boat. So hopefully they are not cruising for the boat, because then you probably want to change stuff. And then MSC, so they just opened up their sailings for the summer of 2027 on the MSC Poesia in Alaska. So May 2026 will be the inaugural season for MSC in Alaska, and the Poesia is undergoing the largest ship upgrade in the cruise line's history. So they're upgrading. I know I read it was like the Aria Spa. They're adding a yacht club. So they're prepping for their break into Alaska, and I think that's great. I love watching MSC grow. For a long time, I had one bad experience and I was not a big fan, and we started sailing more and more, and now I am constantly singing their praises. So the value is there. If you ever have any questions on MSC, feel free to reach out. We cruise them a lot. In fact, we just got off the World America last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, the 4th. And then the MSC World Cruise, which is a 121 night cruise, it will for the first time see a yacht club on board for the 2027 sailing on the MSC Magnifica. So that is a first for them. Usually they have not, or in the past they have not had a yacht club. So this time they will. Virgin has been pretty quiet, so the Brilliant Lady has officially began her journey, though, down to Miami for her winter season in the Caribbean. She will be here in Miami until the end of March, and then she will make her way across through the Panama Canal and be in Southern California for a little while before going up to Alaska. There was no Disney news this week. It was quiet there. There's not really anything for Holland America or Princess, but Celebrity. So they just had, following suit with Royal Caribbean, that Celebrity has canceled its stops for Labadee, Haiti for the 2025 and 2026 seasons. So not a lot of news. Norwegian probably had the bulk of it with all their changes. But if you have any questions on any of those changes, feel free to reach out and I can explain it more. I'm always available for any travel questions that you guys might have. And then the tip of the week this week is very simple. So always bring a small medical kit with you. So make sure you have go-to things like your preferred brand of pain reliever, a small thing of maybe aloe for sunburn, pain meds, nausea meds. I take ginger mints with me just in case I get a little bit nauseous, and chapstick. So sometimes the medical center will have these items easily available and free, but sometimes they won't. So for instance, this past cruise, we were in San Juan. I was in the sun a little bit too late. I got a little dehydrated, and usually when that happens, I'll start getting a migraine. Captain Dan was nice enough, and he was going to run over to the Walgreens at the end of the pier to get me some Aleve, but instead of having to run down there, he made me a homemade liquid IV, and it helped everything. But I didn't have any Aleve, so make sure you have those things with you. So As always, I want to thank our sponsor, Starbird and Sunshine Vacations. I cannot talk today. Where we've got you from port to paradise. So remember to tune in Wednesday for the latest episode of Tales from the Ship. We have a whole slew of people lined up for the next, I think it's like 10 weeks from our MSC World America cruise. Last week we talked to your grandpa Paul from TikTok. We've got a international food critic. We've got this guy Smiley who runs his own nonprofit in the South. We've got a deer who is currently finding himself on a road trip through America. We met a lot of really cool people. So make sure that you keep tuning in on Wednesdays for the latest episode of Tales from the Ship. And that's a wrap on this week's eerie edition of the Weekly Helm Report. So whether you're sailing through the shadows or just ghosting your inbox, thanks for joining me on this spectral voyage. Keep your lanterns lit and your lifeboats ready. Next week's cruise news might be even more chilling. Until then, calm seas and clear skies.